Good morning, welcome back to the channel. Today we are on the Himalayan. Everybody kept saying, ride the Himalayan, ride the Himalayan. Compare it to your Sportster. And I mean, I've done that once or twice, but now the Himalayan's actually got a few modifications on it. I think it's actually made an improvement between the handlebars and the knobbies and the overall outfit of it with the new crash bars and all. Oh, and it got the manufacturer ECU reflash, so it actually starts better, it runs better. Jess swears it has more power. I actually haven't taken it up that fast yet. I've just been riding back roads, getting refamiliarized with the controls of the motorcycle, and here in a couple short miles we're going to take it down a gravel road and I'm going to see what it feels like with the knobbies and all, since I've never actually experienced the Himalayan on gravel. It is very smoky out. Apparently the wildfires are at it again in Canada, and it's coming down into the Ohio Valley. It was like this yesterday as well. It's like an air quality alert, but it's very surreal. Right away I can tell I don't like the rubber on the foot pegs with my adventure boots. It's not confidence inspiring for me to stand up on, and I'm surprised Jess never said anything. I've become very fond with my steel foot pegs on my Sportster. They really dig into your boot and hold on. So by now the first episode of my Sportster rebuild has come out, and I have to say there's actually been a lot of positivity on it, which, thank you. I mean, I wasn't expecting that. I figured people would be up in arms that I was taking it back to a regular cruiser, and yeah, I'm just overall pleased with how well people have been supportive. I mean, from the beginning, honestly, a lot of people have been very supportive with my channel, and I've got to say, I don't know, I mean, a lot of people say there's a lot of negativity on the internet, and I have to agree, but overall, my experience has been very welcoming, and I don't know if that's because I'm just not out here to really prove anything. I mean, I say I'm a regular guy, and I really do feel like I'm a regular guy. Like, I'm not really great at anything, but I'm not really out to do any wrong or screw anybody over. That's not really my intention in life. I haven't been out this way in probably a year. It's a nice little route. Thoughts about the Sportster Scrambler and the Scrambler version compared to this. I wouldn't say my Scrambler ever made me a better, like, off-road or adventure rider. Well, I can't say it didn't make me better at riding off-road. I certainly did improve some of my skills and knowledge in getting familiarized with handling a larger bike off-road. But I kind of went the opposite direction. I should have, like everybody else said, and I knew this, I should have started out with a lighter bike. And I mean, a couple of people did tell me, like, you need to get rid of that bike. It shouldn't be off-road. You need to find an actual dirt bike and learn. And I mean, yeah, sure, but the Sportster's what I got. Like, Jess has her bikes, and that's fun and dandy, but I mean, I like my Sportster. I like tinkering on things, and I've already had a couple big brand new bikes, and I gotta be honest, like, brand new bikes, I don't know, it's just, they make me more nervous than an older bike, because then I feel like I have to actually pay special attention to a brand new bike and make sure I keep it clean and make sure I keep it serviced, and that's, I mean, that's kind of developed in the last maybe, I don't know, 5 to 8 years with me, personality wise, because growing up I used to be very meticulous and clean things and try to make everything pretty and new and paint things, and it all became very like fatiguing after a while to try to maintain something so perfect and crisp and clean. And it just, especially living in Ohio with the salt and the winters and the roads, it's not feasible, and it's not really healthy on my mental well-being trying to keep something so clean. Because even with my cars, I was washing them 3-4 times a week. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, granted, it'd only take me like 45 minutes, but still, it's just, I was constantly moving, constantly cleaning, constantly fretting about whenever a bird took a dookie on my car. And then something shifted a couple years ago where I just wanted to get a little rougher of stuff, buy things that were a little older with a little bit of character, and just stop caring as much. And sure enough, my overall like happiness increased. Well, I wouldn't say happiness, but my stress level decreased, because I did enjoy having clean cars, but like I said, I just could have probably utilized that time to do more, and that's what I'm trying to do now. So that's where the whole Sportster came from, after owning a bunch of new bikes and new cars. And I've got my old beat up Sportster that I don't feel bad if, you know, I gotta spray paint something, or, you know, I accidentally get a scratch, or it has to sit out in the rain. It's, oh yeah, you know, she's got character. So for everyone telling me to go out and buy like new bikes, new this or new that, I probably won't ever buy a new bike anytime soon. I mean, I know I also used to say, oh, it's a yard sale. I always contemplated buying the Pan Am, hypothetically the 975, if it ever came out. And now, even if it does come out, I don't know if I would buy it, because it's like, I'm also debt free, and that's very liberating. I've always had a car loan, and Jess will attest to this too. Like, that's why she drives an old beat up CRV now. It's because we don't want a car loan. Like, I sold my sports car and paid off my truck, so we didn't have to worry about a truck payment, and we could drive it across the country and not have to worry about hurting a $30,000 truck. Here is our dirt road, I do believe. Yep. So I'm actually going to get the 360 out. It does feel lighter to ride, so I have to agree with that. It's easier to recover. Oh, getting some humidity. It is only 10 o'clock in the morning, and it is quite moist out here in the valley. Yeah, it's funny, I always thought like my Sportster had a problem with like the front end, with it feeling like loose, but honestly I feel like it's very similar to the Himalayan. Like, maybe that's just my perception of how motorcycles feel going off-road. They just feel loose in the front end, which I don't understand, because it's like they always tell you to keep a loose grip, like don't ever tighten it, and that's usually part of the problem, is you're keeping a really tight grip. And I mean, right now I'm trying really to not hold the handlebars at all, This is a steep hill, so I'll take some time going down this. Yeah, this is just a steep, loose gravel section. Get over here to the hard pack. Wow, look at their driveways washing out. Well, that was a nice warm-up. Road work ahead. Oh, wow. Holy shit, that was some deep gravel there. I'm glad I dodged that. Yeah, they're definitely working on something back there. Oh, here it is again. That is some gnarly holes. Holy cow. So I do plan to get an adventure bike again one day. It's just gonna take me a little bit of time, and I'm gonna shop around, and I mean, I'm probably not gonna buy anything super new. So I imagine it'll be, you know, at least probably 10 years old. And hopefully I can buy it modded already, because I mean, modifying bikes is great and all, but I feel like dirt bikes are so they're so much more singular. Like, I don't know, like, whoa, okay. There's so much more, like, I don't want to say singular is not a good word. It's more like straightforward. It's like, okay, you got an adventure bike. What's the first thing everybody does on an adventure bike? It's either luggage or a bigger tank. That's what I noticed. Like, everyone does those too. And then up from that, it's like foot pegs, handlebars. So there's less customizing, I feel like, on dirt bikes and stuff like that, and it's just very straightforward. It is so surreal driving through all these woods with all this fog. I don't know if it even picks up on camera very well, but it's very, very cool atmospheric effect. I mean, the Himalayan has like a good 100 and probably 140 pounds less than the Sportster, and it feels a little lighter while riding it, honestly, but it doesn't feel real different. It definitely feels like it has less power, that's for sure. But I'm thinking whatever I get, it's going to be in the 300s, definitely. What's this guy stopping up here for? It's not a really good place to stop. I mean, ooh, it does have more travel in the rear end, obviously. I know this bike has like 7 inches in the front and 7 inches in the rear, and 7 inches in the rear is quite literally double of what my Sportster had. That was a huge, something I never really understood with like Sportster shocks and how that whole rear swing arm articulates. Is you can run 9 inches or you can run 15 inches and the shock travels damn near about the same. Like, the body itself is bigger, and I don't even know if there's any more fluid, but like the actual shock travel was like half an inch difference, I think. It was so minute, it's ridiculous. So we're gonna try one more gravel road, I think. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. See, like normally on the Sportster it's geared so weird, like it's geared more for the highways. So right now I'd be like either in the top of first or like in the bottom of second. Right now I'm in third gear. Like the gearing for this is like 100 times better for this type of stuff, because you have so much more variable gearing to pick at lower speeds and just like creep along. And so I do like that. I think it's a very good decision that I've decided to move on from the Sportster Scrambler. I'm feeling more and more confident about it. And I mean, it isn't a sudden realization. This whole time, like, I knew the Sportster Scrambler was ridiculous. It's just, it was cool, and I wanted to build one, and I wanted to experience it. So it's just like, don't think I was ignorant this whole time to what the Scrambler could and couldn't do. And I've said it before too, I know that the capabilities of that Sportster and its Scrambler trim were so much higher than what I was ever comfortable doing. Because it's just like, to be straightforward, I still consider myself a very novice rider. Like, I have so much to learn. I didn't grow up on motorcycles. I mean, this is a very recent thing. And that makes me think, like, I'm at the age now, and I think I shared this on Instagram, it's like I'm at the age now where everything feels like it happened 2 to 3 years ago. But in reality, it's like I learned how to ride probably pushing now, what was, I think it was like 2015 or 2016. See, I'm probably still wrong, but it's like in previous videos, like, oh, I've only been riding 6 years or 5 years, and it's like, no, it's a lot more than that. Brother, what you doing out here? That dude is hardcore. Feels about the same to stand up on, actually, as the Sportster. It's very interesting. Well, not anymore now, since I got rid of my rear controls. Oh, that's a whole nother subject. Is I'm like 90% sure that the rear controls on that bike that I made was part of the reason why it handled so weird in the front. I believe that the mid controls or forward controls act as like a stabilizer for the front end, almost like a sway bar in a way for a car. Like it ties together the front end, it puts your weight forward. And I think when I did the rear controls, it shifted so much weight to the rear end, it made the front end react in a very odd, particular way. And the way I counteracted that was picking up a really cheap, oh, what is it called? Like a stabilizer, like a little piston stabilizer. And if you notice, like in the last couple videos when I rode that bike, it actually was like down on the crash bar, and I like welded it. It was a cheap little thing off Amazon, but it actually worked and was adjustable, and it actually solved a lot of my issues, because then I could go out on the highways. I got zero like wobbles or like shimmies in the front end anymore. And since then I've actually taken the bike out now back with stocker shocks and the new exhaust, actually, which that video will be coming out very soon. And I didn't feel it. I'm like, dude, I was onto something there. I think if I ever, and if anyone else out there, if you ever build a Sportster Scrambler, I mean, I've even said this before, and it was common knowledge that the more you raise a Sportster up in the rear, the weirder the front end gets. And it's totally true. I just don't think it's viable, really. Especially if you're not going to do like a whole custom suspension and all this other stuff, or have a specific reason you're building the bike. Like if you're just a normal rider like I am, or most of these other guys out here are, it's like I probably wouldn't ever go higher than 13.5s. Another big reason for that, handling wise, is also you don't have to worry about your chain or your belt contacting the swing arm, and you don't have to worry about a guide underneath hitting the clutch cover, or not the clutch cover, what is that? That's the front chain drive sprocket cover. Yeah, that's it. So there's actually an attachment point on the bottom of the sprocket cover, and when you do 15s, the chain will actually slap that. So you have to come up with a guide for that, and I used a skateboard wheel, and literally if you just do 13.5s, you'll never have to worry about any of that. It's a lot less confusion. Excuse me. I do think the Himalayan tracks forward better actually once you get going at a good decent speed. It feels much more stable straight line, and especially like weaving on gravel. The Sportster, I think it was part of the weight in the front end, and that heavy V-twin, it kind of made the front end feel wishy-washy. So that's something that I'm gonna have to retrain my brain around, riding actual bikes made for the dirt. Dude, I'm carrying a lot more speed than the Sportster. Probably about 3 or 4 miles per hour faster than the Sportster. Well, that was very enjoyable. I must say, the Himalayan is a much more enjoyable place to be off-road. Well, let's get out here. Look at that haze. Well, I think that's where I'm going to call it. It's 10:40. I actually was thinking about riding back out to the Dillon section that I used to ride through, but with all the water and the rain here lately, I bet you those roads are shut down actually. The gates are probably closed. So I don't really feel like riding 45 minutes out that way when I'm actually about 45 minutes away from home, and it's almost lunchtime. So hopefully you guys enjoy this short video. I mean, it was pretty basic, but this is a good introduction to me riding the Himalayan. I might take it out a few more times because there's no telling when I'll actually get my own bike. But also this is Jessica's bike, so I'm sure she'll want to ride it too. With that said, everyone, thank you for watching, and until next time, take it easy. Go, little Toff, go!